I'm not a moves guy. I'm not an internet guy. I'm not a sneaky stooge to the office politics guy. But when the bell rings, I am the guy.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Enzo, and this is Kaz, and this is welcome to the War Report. Just kidding. I am Murjani, your host, and of course, I'm always joined by my esteemed colleague Cyrus. What's going on, Cyrus?
Oh my God! Don't ever do that again.
Okay. Full disclaimer: we actually started recording with me saying that. The beginning. Sometimes I don't even tell Cyrus what I'm going to start with, and for some reason that came to my mind, and we were laughing for like 5 minutes.
Oh my God, yo, I felt like somebody DDT'd me to the floor. Oh my God!
What do you mean? You got Kaz. I said I was Enzo.
Oh my God, that really took me out. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, this is the War Report,
This is the War Report. Of course, you guys join us every Friday, every single Friday. We got a lot to talk about this week. Of course, we have ALW Revolution. It feels like it's been 4 years since the last ALW pay-per-view, but here we are.
Man, I'm excited. Like, after this pay-per-view, we finally see some, fresh and newer things going forward. There's been title changes since the last pay-per-view, but now we get to see a new direction.
Bro, it's been November 9th was Full Gear. You know what I mean? We're at the end of February and we're hitting another pay-per-view.
So long.
I know. And ALW's been hitting their stride. I will give them that. I will give them hats off to that. Their storylines seem better because it was a far cry from November. And a long time since that New Year's angle where the Dark Order attacked the Elite and everybody was like, what the hell? This is their low point? And they've bounced back since then.
Yeah, I think since the filler has been kind of poor, but now that we're at the finish line, a lot of these big feuds that we just been seeing that kind of just more or less, to me at least, more or less stalling. We're finally seeing a finish line for it, and I'm excited I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we get to finally see Cody and MJF fight. You know what I mean? It seems like Cody's been jumping through hoops. He got whipped. He had to fight Wardlow in a cage match. It seems like he's been going through a million hoops, and we finally get to see them fight.
Finally.
Of course, we have some In the Trenches. Now, last week, we talked about Poppy's album, and I said that Cyrus should listen to it. So this week, we're going to have Cyrus give a little review about Poppy's new album, I Disagree. So, Cyrus, you took a full listen to it. What do you think about it?
I listened to it 2 days ago. I actually forgot because, school and stuff. But I listened to it, and more or less, I enjoyed it a lot. To me, at least, a lot of the sounds it's reminiscent of Dance Gavin Dance to me, with a lot of I don't know, I don't really know what to call it with metal music. There's a lot of heavy guitar stuff, but there is a lot of nice mellow stuff, and the mellow stuff are my favorite songs. What is it? Sick of the Sun, which I've been playing that on repeat since I woke up. Don't Go Outside. I like Disagree a lot. I Disagree because it just reminds me of the Takeover packages. Video packages. It's a really nice album. I do enjoy it a lot. I think everybody should listen to it. Listening to this, Sick of the Sun and Don't Go Outside. I've been listening to a Vampire the Masquerade podcast, which is really nice. And these are like vampiric anthems, like, you know, vampires don't like the sun, sick of the sun is like a great like theme for a vampire. So it's really nice. I like the album a lot. If I had to give it a review, I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I don't like the intro track, and I think that's the only blemish on the album.
Okay. I was listening to Poppy right after that takeover. That song X.
Mm-hmm.
And she has
that's all hard.
Yeah, that song is it's pretty dope. And then like she has this song with Grimes on her album, Am I a Girl? Play the Story, even though they both hate each other now. And then she put like, an EP out with Scary Mass, which is like Io Shirai's favorite song. I like the album too. I listened to it like way back when. But yeah, I was playing I Disagree a lot. I was playing Anything Like Me. Blood Money was pretty cool too.
That song's fire. What else is this listening like before I joined the call? Fill the Crown.
Yeah, she
really good song.
Yeah, she does this whole thing where like she does metal music, but she melds it into like pop and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I like. It's weird because it like. One half of the song will be like synths and stuff like that, and then it'll go into metal, and it'll all work together somehow.
That's exact like the outro track, which I feel like Concrete should be like somewhere else on the album, and like Disagree should be the intro, because the end of Don't Go Outside, it would blend so much, like it would blend really well into back into I Disagree, and then just like running back the album over. It's a really good album, just like the blends and sounds and like the shifts that she takes. It reminds me when I first listened to Dance Gavin Dance Instant Gratification album, which is
good album.
Man, I love that album. I love that album a lot. Really good stuff. Triple H, you might have did something. I would love to talk about NXT with Poppy, or just like do a spot callers with Poppy.
Hey, Poppy, because you listen to this podcast, we might tag you. Like Cyrus would love to get you on spot callers to talk about. Well, what do you have next?
Well, we have a lot of lucha stuff coming up in these couple months, and I think for WrestleMania weekend, possibly a live watch. Like that's what I have. That is not certain. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but that's what I have in mind.
All right,
but yeah, like I would
either get like
the
invite is extended. Poppy could come on the War Report, or she could be on Spot Callers. It's her world, man. She's NXT's house band. So
and let's just talk.
So the run through In the Trenches really quickly. Of course, there was another Matt Hardy tease. It's weird because they're saying that like he's showing up at Revolution, but his contract is not up until the 1st, so he can't show up until like earliest
let him
3rd or 4th. Oh, you think that, you think that WWE was gonna let them out?
Yeah, like they were just gonna let him free, like go crazy. I think like for Matt Hardy at least, I think he should just run out the clock and on his contract, like just some big bucks before you go, and then show up at the next AEW pay-per-view if that's truly where you if that's where he wants to be next. Like run out his contract, spend he doesn't get the non-compete clause or whatever that is after he gets released, so he could perform anywhere immediately. But I think he should show up at the next AEW pay-per-view.
Speaking of which, AEW, which puzzled me a little bit, they announced that Lance Archer officially signed with them. Now, I thought that they would, have him as a surprise. Like, maybe...
There's never any surprises in AEW.
Yeah, like, why wouldn't you have him, like, at Revolution or just, like, the night after show up, post... Revolution on Dynamite? Like they were just like, nope, he's come. You know what I mean? On Twitter, he's like, he signed and he'll be here next week.
That like, especially if he's gonna be there really soon, like you could have just held off. Like I said this before, like I feel the same way about Jericho announcing that Santana and Ortiz were gonna be his tag partners. Like, hold off on that, especially when like Santana and Ortiz at the time were like, a really big deal in TNA and just in the indies in general. Like people really liked them, and I feel like that would have just been a great surprise to hear a Pride and Powerful theme, and then they came out. Like it would have been sick. But there's no secrets in AEW.
Yeah, they just put him out there. You know what I mean? Like, real quick, who do you think Lance Archer's like first feud would be? Like if you were Tony Khan or you were in that group chat.
I feel like, I don't really know how maybe like MJF or Cody. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't want Cody because it's going to be like very different. Like it's going to be a Cody program, and I don't really want Lance Archer to get stuck into that with all this. Yeah, Joey Janela or Kip Sabian, somebody smaller.
Yeah, because. I mean, we'll get to it. Like AOW Dark, Janelle and Kip, their feud should be done. Like after that match and that Falls Count Anywhere match, it should be over. Yeah, you know what? Lance Archer proved that he could work with smaller dudes in the G1. Like, look at that. Go back and watch his match with Will Ospreay. It's awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like he signed with AOW while his stock is sky high. I'm not really sure why. Still, I kind of question why, New Japan took the U.S. title off of him so quick. You know what I mean? Like, I thought they, rewarded him for having a great G1, but, AOW needed more, taller, powerful guys, and they got one. So
and they're getting more of that. Even if Jeff Cobbs doesn't sign officially, I think Lance Archer takes his place just as fine.
Before we move on to the bulk of this stuff, your quick thoughts on Super Showdown.
I didn't watch.
Okay, so
I was at work earlier today, so I could not watch. But since NXT UK was this morning, I watched it on my way to work, and I Quit match is sick.
Okay, so shifting from that, I watched it also. How do you feel about that ending angle with Kaylee Ray and Toni Storm?
I think it's a good send off for Toni Storm.
Yeah, there's really nothing for her to do in NXT UK anymore.
Kaylee Ray had her weeping, "I quit." Not, "I quit." She was weeping, "I quit." Like, it's over. I think that's a proper send off for her and for Piper Niven to finally get her one-on-one with Kaylee Ray and possibly take it off her at TakeOver Ireland.
And you can move Toni Storm over to NXT in Full Sail.
They're going to be, we're going to talk about it later, but they're going to have the qualifying matches.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man, big
for the
ladder match
for the number one contenders. Toni Storm should definitely be one of the women that is probably in the finals, semifinals. Toni Storm does well in tournaments, so let her do her thing.
So speaking of NXT, they celebrated a 10th anniversary. It's crazy that it's been 10 years already of that. You know what I mean? Like, you see it from where it was just kind of like a reality show, like it was like a variety show. And now
they had Titus O'Neil running with a keg. I'll never forget that. That's what I've never actually seen this show, but that is one of my favorite clips ever.
And now you got like this. Now it's a main brand. Like it's
and then NXT title is gonna be defended on WrestleMania,
which is insane.
That's insane.
Which is absolutely insane. So, real quick, give a couple of your favorite matches from NXT.
Sasha Banks versus Bayley.
Damn,
every single one of those.
That was
every single one of their matches. That single-handedly brought me back into wrestling. like watching the product weekly. The takeover shows, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, like amazing. Samoa Joe versus Nakamura, great. Andrade versus Gargano, amazing. Andrade versus Drew McIntyre, like there's like a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I would go like Sami Zayn and Cesaro. Their 2 out of 3 falls match. I love that match. Also, Neville and Sami Zayn for the title. You mentioned Sasha Banks versus Bayley and NXT Takeover Brooklyn. That's one of my favorite matches in NXT. Well, since I've been watching NXT. Then their match at Unstoppable. Sasha and Becky Lynch. I really like that match too. You mentioned Gargano and Andrade. I feel like that's everybody's favorite match ever. It's one of the greatest matches, I think, in the last 5-10 years.
Like, Gargano had that match with Almas. I know it takes 2 to tango, and those two, they had an amazing series, and now people act like Johnny Gargano can't wrestle, which is insane.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite moments?
Sasha making Izzy cry is a classic for me. The first time I ever seen a Samoa Joe match was Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor at TakeOver Dallas, and just 3 to 5 minutes into the match and he was bleeding. That was like really cool to me. Asuka tapping out Bayley, which shocked the hell out of me. A lot of Shayna Baszler stuff. I think Shayna Baszler is great. Aleister Black, just him winning that title, really just amazing stuff. Seeing his entrance live was really nice. This is a weird moment because it goes to a commentator, Corey Graves, saying check your pulse. If you're not excited, check your pulse during Shinsuke's entrance, and them just using that clip over and over, that's a bar, bro. That was really good stuff.
Mine is seeing Shinsuke's entrance with that music for the first time, and the violin entrance that he had. Oh. That is a GOAT entrance right there. Mm-hmm. This one's gonna be funny, but when Roddy hit the knee on
classic. Yo, when Roddy hits the knee on anybody, it's classic. When he hit Bronson Reed with it a couple weeks ago, where everybody's like, whoa, 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 and then you see Roger Strong loading it up in the back, and then he fires off, and they started beating the hell out of him. Man, Roger Strong the GOAT, man.
I would say when Finn Balor lost for the last time at the end against Samoa Joe, that was really for me when I first started, that was the change into the guard for me, for NXT, because I was such a big Finn Balor fan, and that's how that was cool. Let's see.
Wait, a moment that I never want to forget, or I really want to mention, is seeing Jushin Thunder Liger in NXT.
Yes.
Amazing. I thought I would never see it.
I'm glad that they pulled that off, man. I'm glad that people got to see Jushin Thunder Liger, because if you weren't,
I wish there was more.
Yeah, if you weren't, because I know he did last year in their West Coast show, he wrestled in the U.S. for the last time. I wish that he could have did that one more time. You know what I mean? Maybe at a takeover.
I wish there was more talent exchanges and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like a lot of because they have talent from the UK all the time, coming in and doing the thing. But like, I would really like to see more Japanese wrestlers come over. Like they let Kenta go do the thing at Noah when he was still on WWE contract. Like that was really cool. Like let's get some Noah dudes over and just have a one-off. Just have some legends come through.
We'll see, man. Like if they do the NXT Japan thing, that's gonna be like that's gonna heighten some tension cool over there. You know.
Hey man, get down and lay down. That's all I gotta say.
So we did a little survey thing, and we asked you guys, what's your favorite NXT memory, and what's your favorite NXT matches. Now, Survey Monkey went something crazy and didn't tell me who said what. I'm just going to read them off. If this was yours, like, you'll know when you know when you hear it. So, what's your favorite NXT memory? First one is KO turning on Sami Zayn after NXT TakeOver Evolution. That was a crazy moment right there with the power bomb to the apron.
That was the first time I ever seen a power bomb in the apron, and it made me wince.
We also got when Roderick Strong hit the end of Heartache on Pete Dunne and joined the Undisputed Era. Yeah, I didn't see that coming either.
Hard.
Samoa Joe debuting. I never watched much of anything outside of WWE, but him and AJ were always cool non-WWE guys to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't. Like, imagine like Samoa Joe coming over to NXT. Like, I'm like, really? Like, he really left like TNA? Like, he was their guy.
Yeah. Samoa Joe and AJ Styles are like two amazing, talent that has come from ROH and TNA, whichever one you want to say, whatever. But yeah, man, like I wasn't really familiar with any of their works. Like I probably seen like Samoa Joe in passing during my dive back into wrestling, but like AJ Styles, man, seeing him pop out at the Royal Rumble, like he just oozed charisma. Like really cool dude.
Also got Kevin Owens turning on Sami Zayn again, and then Shinsuke Nakamura arriving against his match against Sami Zayn. Shinsuke was also part of the big WWE heist that they pulled on New Japan. They got Anderson Gallows, Nakamura, and AJ.
What's nasty about that heist is Justin pointed out to me is when William Regal does the reveal, and then Shinsuke's on doing the video on the phone because he was still on New Japan contract.
I didn't even know that. Oh man!
Oh my god! Yo, when he pointed that out to me, that was so funny. This man was doing promos for another promotion, and he was planning on leaving. So green.
He was tired of them putting the IC title on him so many times. He's like, all right, man, I had enough.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite NXT matches? Johnny Gargano versus Andrade and NXT TakeOver Philly. All right. The North American Championship ladder match in TakeOver New Orleans.
Love that match so much. I was so glad I was there to see it live.
EC3 was a part of it, right?
Was he?
Oh, man. Andrade versus Gargano versus... Oh, they spelled Gargano wrong. Andrade versus Gargano at Philly, right? My Mexican blood won't allow anything else. Okay, that's great. That's interesting. Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. That's a great match. Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I was there. Nice. That you were there for a hell of a match that I wish I was there too.
Yeah, well, it's like that we don't have the names, but like, yeah, man, NXT has been like some really cool stuff. Brought me back into wrestling, and I think I'm grateful for that.
To 10 more years. Years.
And these takeovers are only getting better and better.
Yeah, think about
which is like crazy.
Just think about this real quick. Like NXT TakeOver is where people like look forward to now. Like they're like they're looking at when we thought that Raw and SmackDown were the main roster, quote unquote. they would be like, all right, man, they got to follow that. I don't know how they're going to follow that because there was some NXT takeovers where they were just like 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Like, I don't know what, I don't know what, Survivor Series or anything they're going to do.
A lot of the takeovers before SummerSlam would always just overshadow SummerSlam. But I to me, Survivor Series is undefeated. I love that pay-per-view too much. I think once they added War Games, that's when it was just like, ooh, now you got a problem because the War Game matches are they're fun. They go a little too long, but they're fun.
Yeah, when the Undisputed Era move, I don't know who you're going to put in. Like they got to think of like some other faction that they could kind of throw in maybe Imperium.
Imperium.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So moving on real quick because we got a lot to talk about with AEW. We got NXT. I want to get your thoughts, a little deep dive here on Bianca Belair because I've seen a lot of takes about this and I've talked to a lot of people about this. Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. First of all, what do you think about the match? I thought the match was great. A lot of people were down on Charlotte, though. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were down on Charlotte.
Well, it's not the match that I envisioned, which is, I got my hopes up, which fair enough, because I think Bianca Belair is one of my favorite on the roster, and Charlotte Flair is one of my favorite on the main roster. I think I set my expectations a little too high for them to be going insane on a Wednesday night when they can seriously save that for the future. It could be a seed that is, planted and it'll grow long into the future when Bianca Belair finally goes on to the main roster or something like that. But as far as Bianca Belair right now, to me, she looks directionless. Somebody did point out a nice little fantasy booking tweet where like Bianca fights her way back to the top and wins the number one contenders ladder match and then just shows up on WrestleMania, which is insane to me. But I like right now. I don't know what is there for Bianca. Like I still think like she is a star. She's still an amazing wrestler. Like that defeat took nothing away from like her athletic ability. Just all the cool stuff that she's able to do. But right now, I'm just confused on where they plan on going with her next.
I think with the booking, and I thought about this in two ways. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. Okay, so they've been building up Bianca. Through Royal Rumble, right? They had her, tie the elimination record. She's been getting a lot of wins. They had her be the number one contender. I knew she was going to lose to Rhea, because the money match to them was going to be Rhea and Charlotte. I didn't like that she lost to Charlotte, but here, think about this, right? And I think somebody pointed this out, right? Imagine if she would have beaten Charlotte here. She would have went on to, and I think Justin pointed, if she went on to WrestleMania, she's going to take the pin at WrestleMania. I don't think Rhea is, and that would have looked worse. Bianca, I feel like she always has, they're dangling the carrot, right? To her, it's always the bridesmaid with her. Because she had two matches with Shayna. Well, one was the 4-way, but one match with Shayna where I for sure thought she was gonna beat Shayna if she loses. She had the match with Rhea where I knew she was gonna lose. I was hoping that she didn't, but I knew it was gonna happen. If you're building her up, everybody's bigging her up on Twitter, like Mia and Tegan and stuff like that.
She's an amazing competitor.
I think she's the full package. It's just that, what are you going to do? When are you going to pull the trigger? How many times are you going to rehab her? When she lost the second time, they had her get a whole bunch of wins to get her momentum back and then brought her back for, the Royal Rumble and all that stuff and then, with the War Games match. But, when are you going to, make her the person? It's got to happen at some point.
Yeah, and people that are just it's going to be like the Kofi Mania thing. Let's stop that Like let's stop like everything having to be exactly like the Kofi Mania thing, or like trying to recreate that. I think that's that's a weird expectation to have whenever somebody loses a championship match, especially a black person win the championship match. And I don't know, right now it just looks weird for Bianca. I think if NXT had a women's like mid card belt, like a North American, like either her or Io would be like carrying that belt. But right now, the NXT Women's Championship is just absorbed into the main roster. It's full Mania from here on out, and these women are just going to be having killer matches until April, which is nice. But like, there has to be something like in the meantime during that.
The way they ended the show was weird. It was really
let's not talk about that. I think Rhea Ripley really messed up the ending of that show.
Well, I'm
because
glad
now everybody just has this goofy ass image.
Well, I'm glad that she tweeted out. Like, I think she just sent the tweet that. Let me pull it up real fast here, because she covered it. Like, because it looked, because Bianca is getting her ankle just destroyed, but Rhea is like, I'm gonna get my full entrance in. She says, I'm not here to save people, in quotes, from their stupid mistakes. I got my eyes set on my prize, and that is all.
Yeah, I saw something else on my TV, but I do think Charlotte attacking Bianca after is something. Like, we may not know what that is, but I think it's significant in some way. Like, just like how she like beat her up at TakeOver, which led to this match, and then Charlotte didn't need to like beat her up after the match and try to take her out anymore. Like, there is definitely like some frustration that Charlotte has in some shape or form, or something that will just be probably elaborated on later. Who knows?
Oh boy. So, speaking of new challengers, Finn Balor has got his sights set on the NXT UK Championship. So guess who he is challenging? Walter. Yes, that's right. Well, and it fits because the next...
Ireland.
Yeah, in Dublin. So, like, with Devlin having the Cruiserweight title, and my man's, he's nursing an injury right now, and Finn kind of not having... If he's not going after Adam Cole, he doesn't have, like, much to do. Why not go after Walter? He's going to be at the NXT UK tapings, so...
And I'm finally getting my wish from when Balor showed up the first time. We get to see him versus a bigger opponent. And I think that's going to be something that is very interesting, seeing Balor versus the big, dominant figure that is Walter. I think... How is Balor going to deal with the numbers that is Imperium? That's going to be something that that's what's keeping me interested right now. Is like Balor with the trying to overcome the numbers game as the big heel that he is.
You better call AJ. You better call the OC.
Like the OC versus that. Well. After Mania, I guess AJ's free, but
he's got a little bone to pick right now with a certain dead man. So
yeah, but that'll be over Mania, and then who knows? I'm not gonna say the OC, but the numbers game isn't in his favor, and I think that's very interesting to put him in this spot as like the big cocky heel that he is, because he did have the upper hand on Eichner and Bartel, but
they beat his ass afterwards, though.
They overcame him in the end, numbers. But I'm excited, can't wait.
What do you think about Ciampa and Austin Theory?
Really, really good match. a really good match, and everything that kind of came after, like the matches that came after it, aside from the main event, just didn't really deliver it to me. I didn't really like Bronson Reed versus Killian Dane, especially with Dane winning. And I like the Vizsla Young veterans, but like that match versus the Forgotten Sons, I was falling asleep in my seat. Wasn't really feeling it. Like, so put that in the first hour, like I'm here waiting for Bianca and Charlotte, and then you're giving me a match featuring the Forgotten Sons. Like, how rude!
The Forgotten Sons. Man, people
How
are
rude.
very low on the Forgotten Sons, man.
Yeah, and they're not doing it with good reason, but they didn't do themselves any favors.
They're just, they're just a tag team having matches. Like two guys, three guys.
Yeah.
Well, one guy just kind of stands there and maybe interferes once in a while. They're just fellas having matches.
And I didn't like it during the match. Beth Phoenix decided she wanted to be a full-on patriot. This is and Nigel just being like, "Screw you, dang Yankees!" What the hell going on?
Hey! Beth Phoenix got some. She had to get that out because she'll be on Raw this Monday. Oh, hey, she ain't taking an RKO, bro, so I ain't worried about that. Or is she? You never know. I like Ciampa Austin Theory. Austin Theory is going to be the guy down the road. Mm-hmm. He definitely has something. You know what I mean? Like, it was a good pickup from Evolve. Yes, we're going to see Gargano versus Ciampa at 87 again.
I have no problem with it. Like, let the match happen already, and then it'll be all washed away.
And Gargano was sporting a blue blazer.
Well, very, very weak fit, but I expected nothing less from Gargano.
So we got two steel cage matches. We got Tegan and Dakota. Raquel got involved this week. She beat down Zaya and Mia.
In a very weird match finish.
Yeah, Zaya got the win, but that was very weird.
Yeah, Mia was very distracted, and then Zaya Lee was just like, "Yeah, I'm pinning you." And then once saw her in trouble, she wanted to help instead of being a pal and being like, "Oh, you engaged back in the match again?" Like, having, sportsmanship. But it is what it is. I like Raquel a lot. I love this dynamic duo between her and Dakota. Raquel handled both of them nicely, and Dakota Kai didn't even have to get her hands dirty.
Yeah, she just stood outside and smiled. That's all she had to do,
Yeah, that was good stuff. Really enjoyed it. The two cage matches, Roderick Strong versus Dream. Like, I would like to see this match, but I feel like it's kind of stealing some of the shine from the Tegan and Dakota Dakota match.
I'm just wondering what they're gonna do. Are they gonna have them back to back and leave the cage up? Like,
yeah,
well, that one's
and then
done.
and then people are obviously people are already down on Dream, so no matter how the Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai cage match goes, they're still gonna try to dunk on the Dream. People are gonna come up with the weird comparisons, and it's just it's gonna be weird. I feel like it should have just been Dakota Kai and Knox. Roderick Strong and the Dream probably should have had a last man standing of some sort.
I just think
at
that
some later point, who knows?
Dream, Roddy's just Dream is gonna eventually challenge Cole. That's what I'm feeling. Like, he's the guy. He's going to run through the Undisputed Era and get the challenge Cole for WrestleMania. And people can be mad and feel the way they want, but Dream's a star. So
yeah, and also just a little promo from the Undisputed Era this week, and it was kind of not much Undisputed Era this week, and that was a little odd, especially with Adam Cole being our NXT champion. But they have a long time till
Tampa. Yeah.
till Tampa. So I'm just gonna let them do their thing. Just like when there was like no pay-per-view in sight at the beginning of this podcast, and it was just like, oh, it's kind of weird. But like soon as the pay-per-view was announced, everything, like the ball started rolling, the Survivor Series stuff, the War Game stuff, like it all congealed and came together. So right now I'm gonna just chill out.
So we got
like I wasn't really high on that. Wasn't high on the NXT episode this week.
It was. I mean, a lot of people have echoed this. Like a lot of good matches, but not a lot of like storyline threads. Like like Killian Dane
reoccurring characters.
Yeah, like Killian Dane and Bronson. Well, you have so much damn talent there. Like you have to rotate. Like that's NXT has always done that, but like
they rotate wrong.
Well, I mean, you can't have you could have the champions do promos one week and not wrestle every single week. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But a lot of people were down. They're like, oh, we have to see the Forgotten Sons again. We have to see what are they doing with Killian Dane, Lee.
Where's Shotzi Blackheart?
Yeah,
where's Kushida? Like, where are these competitors that really should be on the show and like kind of racking up wins and doing the thing? But
I think
I'm gonna chill out.
Post Mania, I think that you're going to see them a lot more.
Yeah,
we got a lot of AEW to get through. We got a show here. So Kenny Omega versus Pac had a 30-minute Iron Man match. When I first saw this, I knew this was their way of killing time and blowing off this feud.
Thank God.
Listen. Kenny did a interview prior to this episode, and kind of said, speaking to the people who said like he's not the best bout machine anymore, and he was saying like like it's just different, and he can't go 30 minutes like he's doing different matches like he did in New Japan, and lo and behold, he did a 30-minute match. Go ahead.
Wait, I read the interview, and it made me kind of just like want to backtrack some of my thoughts. Like, Kenny is older, like maybe not going 30 matches or 30 minutes or an hour is the best for him anymore under the New Japan climate or whatever. But I still think he can be the best bout machine in 20 minutes or less. He just doesn't want to sometimes. And
sound like a pizza.
Yeah, like just 20 minutes or less. Like you can definitely do that. Like you're completely capable of doing that. And then him just addressing like he's having a lot of matches that wouldn't really be possible in New Japan, even though New Japan was kind of like giving him unique like matches. Like they gave him the ladder match and the triple threat, which isn't fairly common. So, Kenny, just do your thing, man. You can be the best bout machine, but don't make excuses.
He's 36. He's going to be 37 in October.
Yeah, I'm not expecting him to like try to him recreating Dominion in AEW. If like you could still be the best bout machine in 20 minutes or less. That was kind of more or less my take from the article. And if he wants to slow down, then whatever. Care for your body. Like I'm not gonna really judge you for that.
Yeah, I thought the Iron Man match was a great blow-off to the feud. Like, now keep these two men away from each other for a long time. Like, it was a weird little segue because you had a sit-down interview with JR later in the show with the Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Adam Page, where the Bucks are saying that, Adam Page was basically a jobber in Ring of Honor until they, put him in the Bullet Club. I feel this match here is basically Kenny being Peacemaker, and it's more so about Hangman Page proving himself out, that he could beat the Elite. Because he did mention that he said, "Listen, I tried to get out of the Elite, but you guys wouldn't let me." So it's him proving because Kenny's complimenting them that Bucks are one of the best tag teams in the world, and Adam is like, listen, I could beat you guys. I like this angle.
Yeah, especially with Hangman Page being kind of this I feel kind of like the failed experiment at the start. He was their big baby face, but everybody was just like, oh, Jericho has to win. And, leading up to their first AEW title match, everybody was all in on Jericho, and Hangman was getting booed and all that. And maybe, he doesn't want to be in the shadow of the Elite anymore. And this is his chance to prove it. And all good for him. He doesn't just want to coast being in the Elite he kind of just coasted being in the Bullet Club. He wants to step out of that. And this is a cool match to do so.
What'd you think about the Jericho Moxley weigh-in? They've really tried to go UFC here.
Why do we do weigh-ins? There's no there's no weight classes.
Well, they were trying.
What do we gain from knowing? What do we gain from knowing each other's weight?
They were trying to do something different.
I feel I feel like this is the way of them doing a contract signing brawl, but they didn't want to be too WWE with it. But this is just as dumb. And once again, not once again. Jericho finally gets kind of a one-up after Moxley beat down his whole crew for 3 weeks now.
Well, you got the headbutt, opened him up a little bit. Then, you had the Dustin Jake Hager thing. Then you had Sammy Guevara basically knock Darby Allin out with his own skateboard. And then, if you look at Twitter, Sammy Guevara actually posed with a fan with the broken skateboard, which was funny. I thought that was really funny.
Oh, okay. That's hard.
So they basically interwove all the big matches with the Inner Circle that were happening in that angle. I mean, I thought it was it was all right. The whole Inner Circle coming down the Royce Gracie crew.
Like a frat.
Well, no, that's how the Royce Gracie crew comes down in UFC.
Oh my god! I don't watch UFC, so when I saw it, it just looked goofy to me. It made me goofy in a fun way. It made me laugh. I was entertained by that.
All right, let's get into this AEW Revolution card and give our predictions out. So, Soul Count Uncensored versus Dark Order.
Dark Order. You can't do a lot of this build and have them lose. You just can't do it.
If Soul Count Uncensored wins, I will be mighty pissed.
They're the first AEW champions. I think they could really afford a loss here and just go back and I feel like the Dark Order should be next up for Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, and SoCal Uncensored could just have great tag matches, and be third on the leaderboard. That's okay.
Do you think that they're going to do an angle with Chris? I don't.
Chris Daniels?
Yeah.
I feel like if the Dark Order wins, I feel like Christopher Daniels should break away from SoCal Uncensored.
So
I think it'll be a very interesting.
To join Dark Order.
Yeah, basically. I think that'll be a very interesting turn. Yeah, man, that's gonna be hard. And then we get more Christopher Daniel matches again, and then maybe we have another SoCal Uncensored feud in the meantime. While probably get Christopher Daniels in singles matches with Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, because right now he's just coming down the ring singing "Proud of the West," So next up, this match was actually formed right after the Kenny Omega Pac match. It's going to be Pac versus Orange Cassidy.
Pac without a doubt, but I'm glad Orange Cassidy finally gets a match where everybody gets to either use the bathroom or have a really good laugh.
I'm gonna go with Orange Cassidy, man.
Oh, you're a monster. You in here for the chaos. All right, bro.
I just you got to do something with him, man. Eventually, this whole him doing the cool stuff, it's gonna wear off. And I know,
but okay, we say it's gonna wear off for us. But the average AEW fan that's buying tickets and sitting front row,
they love it.
It ain't never getting old. So I feel like he can afford a loss here. It doesn't hurt him to lose.
I could just imagine Orange Cassidy winning and Pac going to the locker room and tearing it up and saying, "I'm never coming back here."
Okay, now the image of that makes me want to I want to see Orange Cassidy win because of that. But Pac got to take it. I think they'll be doing Pac a big disservice by having him lose to Orange Cassidy.
Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara.
I'm gonna go Darby Allin. Sammy Guevara. I think after getting his ass kicked on Moxley, he don't need to be winning any matches anytime soon.
Sammy Guevara has gotten the upper hand on Darby Allin a lot. He's gotten a lot of wins. I think Darby gets the win here, too. I'm going to go with Darby. Jake, I decided to finally wrestle Hager versus Dustin Rhodes.
Jay Hager loses first match. Throw it in Rice. Throw the whole company in Rice. I think this match is not going to be great. I really I think Dustin is really good at out wrestle the hell out of Jake Hager while Jake Hager tries to do UFC things like a takedown and mounting and just a lot of stuff I don't want to see.
I'm gonna reluctantly go with Jake Hager. Reluctantly, but you can't have him be this big attraction and then have him lose his first match. That would be comical. So
yeah, man, can't have that.
AEW Women's Title match: Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander.
Nyla Rose all day to the day I die, or until she says something very problematic that I can't stand for.
Listen, man, if you did all of that to build up Nyla Rose again, to have her be a monster, to reign supreme over the women's division, and have her lose to Chris to drop the title, I wouldn't even. Right. I wouldn't even know what to say. And you know
this
what?
might be AEW. This might be AEW's first year, but I don't think they're that stupid, man.
Chris Statlander, I think that she's a champion definitely down the line, but not right now. Please don't do what New Japan does with the never open weight title and just gives it to people every 2 months. Let Nyla cook, man. Just let her do her thing. AEW World Team Champions, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks. I'm going to go with the Young Bucks.
Oh, ew. I'm going with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega all the way. The Young Bucks as champions is something that we called as a joke when AEW first started, and I'm not ready to see that joke yet. The Young Bucks could literally be the tag team champions at any point in time. Even though I don't think that Kenny Omega and Hangman Page should have beaten SoCal Uncensored or the Lucha Bros when they're still making silly tag team mistakes like hitting each other, I don't want to see the Bucks win. They don't need to win that title.
I just think that with Double or Nothing 2 coming up, I don't think that this feud is over, but I just think that Hangman Page is going to do something to cost them the match, and then, what we said early on, what was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen sooner than this, but I have the Young Bucks winning. I just think that they are, and then you're going to get Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page in Vegas.
Okay. When is Double or Nothing 2?
That is not until May.
Not until May?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is a little different about AEW compared to NXT is that championships do drop on TV.
True.
So I feel like they could retain here and drop at any other point in time. Like maybe Hangman Page does something sneaky here, and then we see a rematch, and then they do drop the title. But like here, I don't think so.
I like that. Yeah, you're right, because you have so long between pay-per-views. You could drop it and then like have the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Hangman Page's like relationship dilute that much more, and then have Hangman kind of gloat like, I finally beat you guys, like, you know what I mean? I'm not the jobber you said I was. But,
yeah, absolutely. Like just Hangman taking a really dark turn to win this match, and then Kenny Omega not really standing for it, and maybe I won't say that he lays down for the Bucks, but they have a rematch in the future, and then when Hangman Page tries to cheat again, Kenny Omega stops him.
Cody versus MJF.
I never really. Oh man, I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna go MJF. Listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will go MJF
because of a major man. Their major pay-per-view, Cody lost to Jericho and got humiliated by MJF. If Cody wins here, I think that kills the feud.
Yeah.
I just think that if you're building MJF to be like this big heel, he has to win here. He's got to win.
I was thinking the same. I was thinking because MJF has to go for the title. He has to. He is literally the biggest heel that they have, and I think, he definitely needs to be next up to let him be in the championship match. I think he's earned it for being the biggest heel in AEW, and the numbers proves it. He's kind of a draw, so. And so it is what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna go with MJF because I think he will be a nice opponent, next opponent for who I think will win the AEW championship match.
Yeah, I don't think this hurts Cody. Cody went through all that stuff. The fans were with him and loved it. He's like one of their most over baby faces. Cody will be fine. I think MJF has to win here. I agree with that. Last match, AEW World Championship, Chris Jericho versus Jon Moxley.
John Moxley all the way.
Jon Moxley.
If Jericho wins,
I'll be like,
I'm about to be. I'm gonna act like all the people that got mad that Goldberg won earlier today. I might go stupid. Chris Jericho did his thing. Like he elevated that title as much as it needed to be elevated. Thank you, Chris Jericho, for putting the work in. I think you could drop the title now, and I think him being the veteran that he is, or just kind of like the expert of. Like what I want to say, expert of wrestling. I'm not sure, but I think himself knows that it's time to drop the title, and not dropping it to Moxley at this pay-per-view would be a very huge mistake because I don't think I can handle 3 more months of this feud.
Chris Jericho won the title on August 31st, 2019 at All Out. title has gone through many things. He's lost the title. He's gotten it back. Literally have lost possession of it in a limo. He's also gotten it back. He defended it. It's been over 180 days since he's been champion. Jon Moxley
and defended it less than Brock.
Yes. Jon Moxley is super over with that crowd. They are billing him as their Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying that's what the comparison.
I hate the comparison so much, but yeah, that's the comparison.
You do not have him, beat most of the Inner Circle with one eye for him to lose, the title. The lasting image of AEW Revolution needs to be Jon Moxley in the crowd with the title partying.
Also, just and I would like to put it like this: if Jericho wins and they put another babyface in that position, the only babyface that I see, replacing Jon Moxley would be Darby Allin, and Jericho already beat him, so I'm not trying to see that title program.
Then the other babyface, Kenny Omega, one has already lost to Chris Jericho, and two, he's a tag champ.
Yeah, and then Cody is losing to MJF, so I don't think he earns a title shot.
And he can't even challenge as long as Chris Jericho is the champion.
Oh yeah, he can't even challenge. I forgot that was a stipulation. Oh my god. So it's just for Chris Jericho, there's no more roadway for him to go anymore. As of now, he could probably just do his best to I don't want to say rehab, but steer the Inner Circle in the right direction. Although that he's no longer champion, I think somebody else in the Inner Circle should be having some sort of tag team gold. So right now, the road as champion is over. I think he should be working on trying to get the Inner Circle over so he can take a step back.
He's Chris Jericho, man. You know what I mean? He's gonna be over. He doesn't need the title right now. If you were to decide for him to win it down the line, you could do that. But they need a face champion. They need a face champion, and they need to build damn heels. You know what I mean? Because right now, where we said MJF is the one I could only think of off the top of my head. Pac has lost a lot.
He just lost. Yeah, he just lost this week. So to shoehorn him into a title program just doesn't work out. Jon Moxley.
That's crazy, man. And I read a interview that he just did, just to kind of wrap this episode with a little bow. He said that winning the AEW championship would mean more to him than winning the WWE championship.
Oh, yawn. Oh, yawn. Whatever. I would like, rip that bow up. Screw that. I would like to end this episode. I remember coming, I took a trip to Chicago. I came back to Miami. I went to a SmackDown house show at the AA Arena, and I saw John Cena, AJ Styles, and Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose was stinking it up over there. I don't want to hear none of that.
He's on the record of saying this. So.
Screw that, man. I don't want to hear none of that. Stream Poppy's album.
That's funny. Oh man, I love the yawn. Yawn. I don't know if who brought that up to him, but I'm dag, man, you're mentioning the WWE again.
Whatever, man.
It's been months. You were free. You have built this whole thing up in AEW and New Japan. Dude, just move past it. We know that you were unhappy towards the end. All right, you built this whole thing. Let's move on. Move on.
Yeah, so that's our episode.
That is it. That is our episode. Of course, we will be back next week talking, our reactions to Revolution. If there are any shenanigans that happen, I hope not. Well, they don't keep any surprises, so you know what I mean. Like, I don't know if anybody's gonna pop up because they burnt Jeff Cobb, and now we know Lance Archer's showing up next week. So there we go. As always, you can follow us at RNC Radio Live. We have a new episode of RSPN. They're talking about Deontay Wilder excuse machine. Oh man, that fight. And my man was making excuses saying, he came out looking like one of the Dark Souls heroes with that gear and got beat up. Jeez.
Stay tuned for RSPN next week because the Timberwolves lost to the Heat, and Jeff is going to go insane on Mark next week. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be hilarious.
We also have an episode on our Lookout channel talking about the final selection. I was listening to it today at work. It's dope. Presumably I've been out of anime and I've been using the Lookout to get me like back into it. Like, cause I'm like, man, like.
I've been re-listening to Mount Silver, the Pokemon podcast, just going through all the generations of Pokemon. It's a really good listen. I like Pokemon a lot, so I've been out of anime too, but listening to Pokemon is a really nice listen. Maybe if I go back, I'll watch Pokemon. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff on the RC channel.
Yeah, they're talking about the Bellas and getting into the Hall of Fame. Ugh, oh man,
you could look, but you can't touch. That's all I gotta say. Bellas all day.
The new episode of the Black Variant, they talk about the shakeup at DC, and they also talk about the Batman and Falcon and Winter Soldier news. And then we also have a giveaway, right?
Oh yeah.
So go and retweet it. I think there's less. I think it either has ended or just about to end. So go to our Twitter and retweet that. We also have an episode of the Big Eyes podcast talk about Dragon Ball Z Super and Barucho, and then recalling Saul because Better Call Saul has returned. So Justin Feeney talk about theories and stuff that they have. Welcome back, Better Call Saul. I got to start watching that show. I don't know what Better Call Saul is. It's a Breaking Bad.
I will shamefully say I never seen Breaking Bad. I'm sorry, but I like hearing Pat talk. I miss him so much. I can't wait to go back to LA. So I'm gonna go listen to the episodes, and then kind of just watch through audio. And just a big thing that's happening to a lot of our shows that are on the RNC and for RNC radio, they're all getting their own separate feed. So if you just want to see RSPN, you can subscribe to the RSPN feed and only see those shows. You don't have to be upset or mad that you see all these other shows you're not listening to and stuff like that. So right now we have the A Show channel, which has us and the A Show, and then we have RNC Watch, which I think Better Calls Recalling Saul, which would be on alongside late fees and stuff like that. And then RSPN gets their own feed because they're special. And Mark is hilarious, and Jeff is funny as well. We're all nice people at RNC Radio. But that's all us. Go stream Poppy's album.
Yeah, go listen to I Disagree while you wait on presumably AEW Revolution. All right, guys, we're getting out of here. We'll talk to you next week.